Fish on, yes.
Hey guys, what's going on today? I'm out of the west end of Galveston Island. Gonna hit a spot that I saw on Google Maps that I've always wanted to hit. And today I'm gonna hit it. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. The launch is super foggy, as you can tell. I have a nice giant canyon behind me that I'm not gonna take my truck over, so I got a little bit of a haul ahead of me. We'll get launched and we'll get fishing. All right guys, let's go. Right, and we are off and we are stuck. All right, I'm off today. As you can see, it's super foggy. I'm heading to a spot that I saw on Google Earth that I wanted to try out for a long time, just never really had the time or the patience to go check it out. I'll show you a picture here. It's a deep hole that kind of is at the dead end of this subdivision. So I'm hoping the water's still pretty cold, about 61, but the air is warm today. It's going to be about high 60s, low 70s, but as you can see, there's a lot of fog. So I'm hoping those fish are down in that hole, and it's going to be fairly easy to target them. Plan B is going to be trolling these canals in the subdivision here. And plan C is probably going to be up in the marsh. There's a marsh at this spot as well. So incoming tide all day till about 2. Tide, high tide's at 4:24, so I have a nice steady inflow all day long. There's a slick right here. So I'm fishing with a handicap today. I accidentally picked up my son's left-handed retrieve SLX XT, not the DC. So if I don't catch fish, I'm just gonna blame the gear, because I'm sure that has everything to do with it, right? Can't be my lack of ability. Now we're getting to the spot I've never been to before. I've fished the other side of this island, but never gone down here, so don't know how shallow it is or anything like that up against here. I assume it's, according to the Google map I saw, this is a channel that comes down here to kind of service these houses with their boat ramps, so boat launches. So it should be pretty good through here. And then I think up ahead, I don't know if you can see it that well, but I want to stay to the left of that little island, and that should be my spot. I mean, if there's ever a spot for a flounder, guys, that would be it, right? Alright, I'm going to try to push up into here real quick. Let's push up the shore a little bit more. And then I'm going to switch to the corky, work the corky back into this pocket. See if that makes a difference. Pushing against the wind is not the easiest thing to do, but yeah, you can see the mullet over there flashing. This looks like a really good spot when the tide's a little bit higher. Oh, there's a flounder. Dang it. Dang it, dang it, dang it. Let's see how this goes. Gonna let it sink down to the bottom and work it back up. Oh, there's a bite. Fish on, yes. All right, finally, I knew they were here. Oh yeah, it's a good fish. God, this is so weird, fighting this thing left-handed. Nice looking trout. Where you going, buddy? Nice trout, yes, all right. Calm down, bro. We'll let you go. Nice, yes. Ooh, I love when a plan comes together. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Nice little guy. Might keep. And where are my pliers? Finally, knew they were here. Bro, relax, dude. We're gonna let you go, all right? Just chill out. Slam that down south. Not too bad. Let's get a quick measure. I don't think he's a keeper. Probably right at 15. But we're not keeping guys anyways. But hey, it's a fish, man. I knew they were here. Finally. There you go, bro. Thanks, buddy. I needed that. I'm gonna switch it up real quick. Gonna go with the slightly darker chartreuse tail. Whew, gotta do it quickly. The drift is really rolling. This is still pretty light, but with the dark top. I am not 100% sure what color this is. But could be chicken of the sea. Texas roach. I got like one of everything pretty much, so. Alright guys, things seem to have slowed down for a bit. I'm gonna take a lunch break and then think I'm gonna have to revert to trolling, see what happens, see if I can pick up a few fish that way. So I'm gonna swing back in here into this little open area. Should be pretty deep. Fish on, yes. Oh yeah. It's gonna be a little guy. Probably a little speck, I'm assuming. Yes, tiny, tiny boy. No, you don't get him. It's not for you, bro. It's funny, you know, like I caught decent 17-inch spec on the troll. But when I troll soft plastics, man, these little guys just tear it up, bro. Hey. All right, well, that's good. It's a good sign. I like it. Need to upsize for sure. Woo, what's up, guys? That was a great time out on the water. I love finding a new spot on the map, hitting it, and having it turn out to be relatively productive, right? I didn't catch a ton of fish, but I can tell that area will hold fish during the winter especially. And it's just a great thrill for me to go find a new spot and get out of my comfort zone a little bit and actually find fish. So I'm gonna show you what factors went into me picking this exact spot. And I just wanna say, guys, it's not about spots. It is about conditions and where to fish them. So let's go into the computer and I'm gonna show you what the forecast was that day, what the tides were looking like, and why I chose this spot. All right, let's roll. Okay, so let me show you what the weather conditions were, mostly the tidal conditions were on this day that I went fishing. It was Tuesday, March 3rd, and the tide was moving in pretty much all day long. I was going to need to be off the water, you know, kind of around lunchtime anyways, and so when I check the tide, you can see it's just a constant inflow. So I know I wanted to fish someplace that had a relatively tight cut and deeper water. The air temp was in the 60s, water temp was in the 60s, the low 60s. And so I knew the fish were going to be kind of holding in deeper water, but it was also going to be a sunny day. And so I wanted to have the opportunity to target them in shallower water as they came out, as it warmed up. As it turned out, they were mostly holding in the deeper water all day long, but that's kind of my thinking that went into it. The wind was basically east-southeast as well, and it was really going to be pushing them in. So as we zoom in on the spot that I ended up fishing, you can see it is a relatively tight bowl that's holding, and it's exposed to east-southeast winds. So I knew the water was going to be pushing the bait, as well as the tide was going to be pushing the bait up in there. And I was hoping that the fish would follow the bait as they were getting tossed in there. And as you saw, that was kind of the case. There was a lot of bait in there, and there were some fish in there that I ended up catching. So let me show you how I found this spot, and just kind of my general overview of how I find these spots. I'm in a kayak, and this was my launch spot for the day. It's on the west end of the island. It's fairly popular, fairly well-known spot for both kayakers and wade fishermen. Out during the summer, this spot out here is really nice. And I was looking for a couple of things. Deep water with access to shallow water. That's a fairly typical pattern for us on the Upper Texas coast during the winter. And you can see there's some right here next to the launch. I had fished that a couple of weeks ago, had no luck. It didn't really seem too fishy, so I started moving along down the coast to the west. And as I started moving along down here, I saw this spot here next to the island, which is a deep cut. Pretty decent looking spot. Protected from the winds in this case. Again, I'm mostly dealing with east winds on this day. But I liked the kind of continuing deepness along these houses and along these piers. And then as I got a little bit further, I found this spot right here, which is a nice kind of dead-end pocket where I was hoping that the tide and the wind were going to push the bait fish up there, and that the trout specifically would follow them and try to kind of ambush them then in this hole. And that's pretty much what happened. There's actually fish all along this gut here. They were kind of moving up and down and around, but it worked out pretty well. So what I want to show you is, again, how I kind of found this spot and really how I decide if I'm going to be able to hit a spot or not. So if I zoom out a little bit, you can see my launch spot is over here, and I need to kind of figure out how long it's going to take me. I don't want to be traveling to a spot that's, 5-10 miles away. So Google Earth has a really cool ruler tool, and I see a lot of people start with this line tool, and they kind of click and you drag and you put it there, and you're like, oh, 1.7 miles. 0.17 miles. But you're not going to paddle your kayak in a straight line across land and across houses. So what I like to use is the 3D path tool, and you can just basically kind of click and it'll draw straight lines where you're going to go. And this was pretty much the path I took on this day. I cut inside this subdivision, fished this deeper water for a bit, and you can get a much closer approximation of how long distance is to get to your spot. And you can see this, it was almost 1.5 miles, 1.41 miles. So I like to use that tool to kind of give me an idea of how long it's going to take me to get to a spot, and how I find this to be relatively accurate overall. Hey guys, just want to say, check out my buddy Caleb's channel here. And if you don't mind hitting the subscribe button, it really, really helps me to understand that I'm helping you guys have more fun out on the water. All right guys, take care. Tight lines.